Hey everybody, Pete Werner here with this week's, or actually today's Disney Dining Show, because did a couple of them today that are all going up. Back at the Wave, I was going to call it the Wave, back at Steakhouse 71, opening day, October 1st, 2021, the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. We just reopened this morning. We had breakfast here, and we're back now for the dinner. And just a reminder, this video, along with everything we produce, brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And if you like our content, that's how I pay for it. So, we are here. I am joined by some very good friends from movingtoorlando.com. My business partner and co-owner Sean Falk is with me, along with realtor Drake Shadwell, as well as our friend Cindy Myers. Cindy Meyer, not Myers, like Cindy Meyer. So very excited about this meal. Really did a lot with this menu. Of course, my beloved bacon and eggs are back, so I'm really excited to try that. A lot of new things on the menu, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. All right, so appetizers. Really good steakhouse appetizer menu. Of course, I got the bacon and eggs. It's been a few months since I've had it. Had it the last night of the Wave. I was going to have it the first night of Steakhouse 71 and did not disappoint. Although our presentation's a little different, but all the same elements, all the same flavors. It's the bacon and eggs you remember and love, and it was $15. So not bad. But we ordered a lot of food because we want to try, like we did at breakfast, want to kind of try a number of things. So we have a French onion soup. We have one of their vegan options, which was their house-made onion rings that I tried. That's the plant-based option. Hand-breaded with spicy ranch dipping sauce. That's $9. They were good. You know, were they the best onion rings I've ever had in my life? No. But they were good. It's kind of what you need for a steakhouse. But I will tell you, the sea salt dusted potato brioche with butter and roasted garlic tomato spread was phenomenal. It's pull apart brioche, and that tomato spread, that garlic tomato spread was phenomenal. Really good. $12 for that dish, and I'll let everybody else talk about their thoughts and what they ordered.
Hey everyone, so I got the fork and knife Caesar salad. Get this, it is lettuce and Caesar dressing and shaved Parmesan and croutons. Pretty basic here. So just wanted to try it, wanted to see if they did anything extra with it. It's a lot of dressing, so it's really good. Great size, very shareable because it's two wedges, so easily 2 or 3 people could easily take this together. It was $10, so I think for what it is, it's a good price. Prices are generally good here, especially for Disney property. So that was excellent. Pete talked about the potato bread. I can't remember what it was called, but it was really good. Brioche, yeah. The potato brioche. It was great. It almost looked like Hawaiian rolls or like pull-apart rolls or something. Like that's the look of it. But both of the sauces that came with it were great, particularly the tomato sauce, except my acid reflux is going to be really bad later. And I tried the onion rings, which is also going to hurt my acid reflux, but I had to try it. And the plant-based, I mean, it's onion rings, so they're, there's not a lot of meat, yeah. So, but I did read up on it, and apparently it's because there's no onion powder, which I guess onion powder is not vegan friendly, but onions are, so it's real onions. And then that means the batter did not contain eggs or milk in it, and the ranch dressing either. So I don't know how they made ranch without milk or anything. So I'd love to know what was in it, but it tasted good. So, well, we'll see. So we'll flip over to somebody else and see what they thought of their food.
I'm Cindy. I had the lump crab cakes. They were wonderful. I really liked the corn hash that came with it, and along with the house-made saltines. It was delicious. It was nice and tender. The crab cakes were. And I think it was worth the amount of money they charge, which is $15. $15.
Hey everybody, it's Drake. I ordered the French onion soup. I had been going since about 6 in the morning and was just feeling really tired and wanted something just to fill me up and feel really good. And I was very happy that I got it because this soup really hit the spot. The cheese was nice and thick on top, but the onion in the actual soup was really warm and just, helped me recover some of the energy from the day, which was really nice. And it combined really well with that brioche. But before I go to that, it was $10, which I think is really reasonable for the amount of soup you got and how good it was. And if you did go ahead and get the brioche, I tore some of the pieces off and dipped it in the soup, and it felt like exactly what should be done with that kind of bread. It really soaked up that onion flavor and tasted really good. And I think, is this what we're... Exactly.
It sounds really good.
Yeah, it does. It soaked up that flavor and really made it pop. So I recommend that combo. And then you also get the other sauces for the rest of the brioche. So,
All right, on to the entrees. So it's a steakhouse, so I got chicken. So I had the chicken chaussure. I looked up a video on how to pronounce it, and that's what it said. So it is pan-seared airline chicken breast, parsnip puree. So like the parsnip puree is like under the chicken breast. It was cut in half, and there were roasted mushrooms and sauce chasseur. And that word means hunter, and so the sauce is supposed to be poured over it, and it is a kind of like a wine reduction type sauce with mushrooms in it. So apparently eons ago, French hunters would make it in the woods and put it on whatever game they had killed right then. So that's what I got, and it was the best chicken dish I've ever had in my life. Just on Disney property. It was so good. It was recommended to me by multiple people in here, and no one's been ordering it. They were like, no one's been ordering it, but it is our personal favorite, even over the steaks and stuff. It was phenomenal. The chicken was so good, and the sauce I actually didn't like, and I left it on the side so I could just dip it out and try it. It's really salty, and I'm not a big salt person, but it was so good without it. The parsnip puree was the best thing. It tasted great with everything. The mushrooms were really good. It was a variety of mushrooms, so they had some are more standard. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know what those are called. But they also had the wild mushrooms as well. And they also, it's not on the menu, but it also seemed to have some kind of root vegetable. I don't know what it was. And it kind of tasted like yuca, if you've ever had that. It's a very sweet tasting dish. So that was really great. I also got a filet and with mushrooms as the side item for that, but I was so full I'm taking it to go, so I don't know what it tastes like. I never tried it, but we'll see what everybody else... Oh, mine was $24 as well, and for $24, that's in my top 5 dishes on property. So that is right up there with my other 4, which maybe we'll make a video, I don't know. We'll go into it some other time.
I had the prime rib, and my only complaint is it was too big. The dish was amazing. The meat was tender and perfectly done. The grilled asparagus, accompaniment that came with it, was just amazing. And the Wellington was also wonderful and very tender. So I really enjoyed it. I would get it again, but share it with someone.
Okay, so whenever I am in a steakhouse, someplace where I think they will do this dish correctly, I order a New York strip. In this case, it was a 10-ounce New York strip. Where my initial concern was the price. It was $33. We're on Disney property. As I said in a previous review, steps away from the Magic Kingdom. Just about 10 or 11 floors down from arguably the best restaurant on property, California Grill. And $33 for a New York strip at Walt Disney World is a low price. And oftentimes, when you see that, it's because the quality of the meat is not up to par. Now, I am not going to say this is the best cut of meat I've ever had. It's not. But it was very good and tender. it's a rare occasion where I can cut a New York strip with a fork. And that's kind of my standard. Like, every time I get a steak, that's the first thing I do. I don't touch a knife. I use my fork. Can I cut this with a fork? If I can, that's a tender piece. I expect that with a filet mignon. You don't expect it with a New York strip. And my fork went through that strip like a hot knife through butter. It was delicious. The rub that is on it, I tasted it this morning on the Walt's prime rib hash, and it was familiar to me, and I can't get a straight answer out of anybody, but I'm pretty sure the rub they're putting on it is at the very least inspired by Steakhouse 55 in California, which closed recently. It reminded me of that. It kind of brought those vibes back. And so I started thinking about that. Steakhouse 55, one of my all-time favorite restaurants, period, not just Disney. And in a lot of ways, this is better. This is better. The food here is every bit as good, if not better, than it was at Steakhouse 55. It's the prices that is what sets it apart. I don't know what the final bill is yet. We've ordered like a lot of food to try it. I agree with Sean, that chicken may very well be the best chicken I've ever tasted. That prime rib was sublime. Drake, who's going to talk about his dish in a bit, got the pork, delicious. The flight of sauces that you can add, I forgot what it was, $7 or something like that. That comes with like 8 or 9 different sauces that for your meal. Incredible. I can't believe this. I can't believe they did this. I can't believe it. I looked really hard for something to bitch about. And the most I was able to really come up with was I wasn't a fan of the mac and cheese, the side dish I got for my steak. It wasn't like it was horrible, but, wasn't going like all over crazy. Outside of that, everything I ate was fantastic. It's really, really, really good. They have done what I thought was impossible. They have preserved everything that made the wave great and just did it better. They kept their staff both on the floor and in the kitchen. They kept the prices really reasonable. They want this to be a family-style restaurant. And so they really went out of their way to make sure the prices stayed reasonable. And the quality and flavor and preparation of the food. This is one of the best restaurants on property. If they can maintain this, and that's a big if. I've seen it. Restaurants start strong and they go downhill because some bean counter somewhere decides we're going to pull back on quality and increase price. You want proof of that? Take a look at Be Our Guest in the Magic Kingdom. When that opened, unbelievable. Within a year, they were shoveling crap onto people's plates. And I really hope that doesn't happen here. But our desserts are about to get put down. So I'm going to go do that now.
I got the bone-in dry-aged pork chops. They are $30. And I liked that I could really taste the char-grilled flavor. That was my first impression when I bit into it. It filled my palate, and it was very easy to chew. A lot of times you get a pork chop and it can be really dry, and that's just anathema to me when I'm trying to eat a pork, and that's all I can think about. This let me focus on the flavor, Plus, the asparagus that came with it was really crisp. I could tell it was fresh. Loved it. The only bad thing was that it was so good that I didn't want to try any of the sauces that we got an entire flight of. I kept using them, and they were these delicious sauces, but the actual pork tasted good enough that I just wanted to eat it on its own. The Wellington, I just had one quick bite, and the main dish was very good. I preferred the pork, but what really stood out to me were those cherry tomatoes. They just were really fresh and just burst when I bit into the Wellington, and tasted amazing. It made the entire dish really come together. I'm a big fan of cherry tomatoes, and any dish that has it and does it well, I appreciate, and it really made that flavor pop. And if you want to get that vegan dish, it's going to be $26 for that Wellington. We ordered all of the desserts, which I'm really happy about because all of them were very good. I'm going to particularly talk about the ambrosia because I think I might be the odd one out here, and that it was the standout for me. The ambrosia was $8, and I thought it was delicious. It had a very subtle flavor. It was not overly sweet, but it had a key lime pie flavor that came at the end as kind of an aftertaste. I really enjoyed that. It had a nice texture. It was very smooth and clean. I liked it as an end of the meal. It was very light, and that was just what I was in the mood for tonight, and it really hit the spot for me.
Okay, Drake may have liked the ambrosia, but Drake didn't grow up in New Jersey with cousin Angela, who has a 4-foot-high hairdo and comes to the family picnics with the big bowl of ambrosia that comes with a side of insulin pump. That was not that. So when I hear that word ambrosia, I just kind of think of the stuff I'm used to from New Jersey, and that wasn't it. I found that bland, honestly. I did try the apple tart, caramelized Granny Smith apples, puff pastry, blackberry gelato. This is the plant-based option. It's $8 on the menu. Absolutely delicious. The caramelized Granny Smith apples were like better than they should have been. So that I could just sit there and eat those apples. That was like a fall dessert. That really works as a fall dessert. I also took a bite of the creme brulee, which I think Cindy's going to talk about. That was $10. I was not a fan. I did not like the finish. I thought the finish was bitter. That one wasn't for me. That one wasn't for me. Of course, the chocolate cake is soaked in alcohol, and I don't drink, so I didn't touch it. In fact, no, I won't tell that story. But overall, desserts are good. I don't think they rise to the level of the dinner.
Well, I'm going to disagree with Pete because I really like the creme brulee. It was a different take because it was chocolate based and the fruit on it was delicious. I also tried the chocolate cake, of course, and it was moist and absolutely succulent. So I really enjoyed both of those.
I had no idea what ambrosia was, so I recognized the word, but I thought it was like a Greek mythology thing and wasn't real. So I thought it was some berries from like 1,000 years ago. So hearing this story of like cousin Angela doing whatever she does, like I don't know. I was like, I can't relate. Did try it. I thought it was okay. I thought like a bite or two of it was fine, but like the whole thing would have been too much. But I got the Steakhouse 71 chocolate cake. I guess that's their signature dessert. It is a whiskey-infused chocolate cake, and it has layers of mousse, like chocolate mousse in between each layer with like a raspberry sauce. It was fine. I thought it was okay. I didn't really taste much of the whiskey. There is a better version of that cake at P.F. Chang's that has like a whole layer of chocolate chips on the side, but the rest of it's the same. So if you've been there, that's kind of what I think it was trying for. It's not quite as good, but it's okay. Desserts are generally lacking at Disney in general, so I'm actually going to give this a win for the desserts category because I think for a Disney property sit-down dining, they were good desserts. But overall, I'd save my money and just not get dessert. I'd rather have an appetizer. If it's like, or a drink or something. By comparison, because all that was really good. I did get 2 of the drinks that they had. It was like a pear something, 75, I don't remember. And it was very good. And then the other was a raspberry gin drink. And I'm not usually a gin drinker, but that was really good. And it's sweet, and it was definitely stronger than the pear drink was. So if you want one of the 2, it's that. But either way, I would get a drink before I would get the dessert. Yeah. Or I'll just get a tapeworm so I can feel better after this meal and lose some weight, I guess. So, but yeah, the desserts, yeah, they're okay. That was the low point for sure.
Okay, first up, before I get to my overall impressions of this restaurant, I really want to call out our server, Paul. We ordered everything. And he was on top of it. He was just on top of refilling our drinks and knowledgeable about the menu. And you have to remember, folks, this is their first night. Okay? This is the worst this restaurant gets. And they knocked it out of in my opinion, they knocked it out of the park. And I really tried to make sure I didn't let my affinity for the Wave and the people who work here influenced me unduly in this. Service was phenomenal. And the food. Let's talk about the food. Okay, so with the extraordinary amount of food we ordered, multiple appetizers, more than just for the 4 of us. Same with entrees, same with desserts. There were 3 or 4 alcoholic beverages consumed at dinner, and the grand total before my 10% annual pass discount, $400. Now, just stop. This was a signature level meal, no question. This holds its own against Yachtsman. This holds its own against Citricos. This holds its own against Le Cellier. This holds its own against Shula's. I think it's better. Sean pointed out something that whether you're vegan, pescatarian, there is something for everyone on this menu. And it's really well done. A lot of times you go to steakhouses and things like chicken or these other dishes tend to be like throwaway dishes. Like, okay, here you go. We're specializing in steak. They did not do that with this. And I again, an extraordinary amount of food was ordered. It was $400 for 4 adults. Without, like, if we were eating like normal people and not like gluttonous pigs, this would have been about $60 a person. Maybe. $60 a person for a signature meal at Walt Disney World, walking distance to the Magic Kingdom. So the fears I had about this redesign have been allayed. And I'm not ready to make this proclamation yet. But this may be a top 3 restaurant at Walt Disney World. I asked Cindy what she would rate this restaurant on a scale of 1 to 10. She gave it a 9. I give it a 9.5, because so much was so right. I forgot to ask Drake what number he would give it.
I'd give it a 10.
Drake and Sean both said 10. Trust me. Get your reservations now. Word is going to get out on this place, and it is going to fill up, and it's going to be the hottest reservation at Walt Disney World. I don't have to worry because I can make a call and get a table. You, on the other hand, will not be able to do that. So you need to make your reservations now. You're planning for next year? Get that ADR in as soon as you can. and that's for breakfast as well. But dinner is going to be the impossible dream. I give it a couple months. So that, folks, is going to do it for this episode of the Disney Dining Show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you again next week.